Welcome to the deep dive. Lately it really feels like the AI world isn't just advancing, it's more like it's exploding, just breakthroughs everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
almost hard to keep up. We're seeing these really fundamental shifts in, well, how AI even thinks, right?
exactly. And how it integrates into our actual lives, our tools, plus these new ways to train models that are surprisingly kind of affordable.
Yeah, and AI features showing up on phones you wouldn't expect, huge infrastructure plays by entire countries. It's a
Oh,
lot.
it really is. So that's why we're here. We've gone through this really detailed video transcript covering a bunch of recent AI news.
And our mission really is to pull out the big stuff for you, the developments that are truly significant, maybe even a bit surprising, so you can get a handle on what's happening at the cutting edge.
Okay, let's jump in. First up, Sakana AI. They're based in Tokyo.
Right, not your usual Silicon Valley player. And founded by a Transformer co-author, which is interesting in itself.
Yeah, and their whole approach is different. They're actually moving away from that process everything all at once thing that Transformers are known for.
Which is fascinating. They have this concept they call a continuous thought machine.
Okay.
So instead of those huge parallel layers, their artificial neurons have these rolling diaries of what they've just done, their recent spikes.
Rolling diaries.
Yeah. And on each little microcycle, they call them ticks,
Mm.
each neuron looks at its diary, talks to its neighbors, and decides, okay, do I need to keep thinking or am I done here?
So it's not all neurons firing for the same amount of time.
Exactly. There's a variable tick budget per neuron. Simple task, fewer ticks, more complex. It keeps thinking, keeps ticking away.
Huh. And this actually works. I mean, results-wise.
Seems like it. They tested it on ImageNet, the image recognition benchmark. Got respectable scores around 72% top 1, almost 90% top 5 accuracy.
Wow.
And the key thing is they did this without a lot of the usual architectural, well, crutches or cheat codes people have been using since like 2017,
Suggesting a different path forward, maybe?
potentially. And they've got this cool demo, a maze-solving thing. You give it
Uh-huh.
a raw image of a maze, no coordinates or anything, and you can watch these little colored attention blobs trace the path. It really looks like a human finger finding the way.
That sounds visually intuitive.
It is. And they have a live web demo. You can slow it right down, see individual neurons lighting up, communicating. It gives you a real insight into how it works.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But there's always a trade-off, right? Does this make training harder,
Yeah.
slower?
That's the potential catch.
Yeah,
Because that internal timeline, the diary, is part of the model's parameters. Training could be heavier.
right. More complex internal state to manage.
Yeah, and standard AI profiling tools apparently struggle with it. Tracking layers that are always changing size as neurons think over time.
So what do they do?
They had to build their own custom tools, these tick-level traces, just to calibrate things properly.
Okay, extra work.
But it led to this kind of elegant calibration method. Instead of tweaking things after training, they just averaged the predictions across all the ticks for a given input.
Ah, so the longer it thinks, the more votes it gets, and the confidence naturally tightens up.
Exactly. It sort of aligns itself with the ground truth just through that averaging process. Pretty neat.
And I heard they're being really open about testing, especially after some previous incident.
Yes, absolutely. After that issue with their CUD engineer agent, they put all their unit tests, their stress harnesses, out there publicly.
Basically saying, go ahead, try and break it.
Pretty much. It's a really mature approach, builds trust. They want the community to vet things before they make big claims. Commendable, really.
All right, so from AI brains thinking differently, let's talk about Abacus AI. They've got this thing called the Model Context Protocol, MCP.
Yes, and they're calling it the most important upgrade to their Deep Agent platform.
And this sounds like it's all about connecting AI to the real world, actually doing things.
That's the core idea. MCP basically lets Deep Agent connect to, get this, over 5,000 different tools using Zapier.
5,000. Wow, so like your email, calendar, project management.
All of that. CRM systems, GitHub, Slack, e-commerce platforms, anything Zapier talks to, potentially. It's like giving the AI hands and feet in the digital world.
Okay, how hard is it to set up? Sounds complicated.
Surprisingly, no. They say you just go to a website, mcpzapier.com, pick the apps you use, Gmail, Trello, whatever. Zapier spits out a unique server URL. You copy that, paste it in Deep Agent, and that's it.
Seriously?
Seems so. Then you can just use natural language.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so you could say, find all emails from last week about Project X, and you would go into your Gmail, find them, maybe even summarize them for you.
Or draft replies.
Or draft replies, yeah.
Oh.
Or summarize the main changes in this GitHub pull request. It goes, fetches the code diffs, explains it in plain English.
That is incredibly useful. It's like a proper virtual assistant that can actually push the buttons.
Pretty much. And because it uses Zapier, it's not locked into one system. It's this general integration layer.
Accessing all sorts of tools.
Right. And not just single actions. They can handle workflows, sequence of things, like see a new lead in an email, add it to a Google Sheet, update your Salesforce record, and ping the sales team on Slack, all automatically.
Okay, that's powerful. And you get Zapier's logging and error handling, too.
Exactly. Plus permission control via Zapier, which is important.
Any downsides? Is it slow?
Well, there might be slight delays sometimes, depending on the service it's calling out to. That's normal for API integrations.
Sure, but the potential here, replacing manual work, maybe even some software subscriptions.
Absolutely. They've tested it for email, location stuff with maps, basic code review. It really could turn Deep Agent into this major automation hub.
Huge potential cost and time savings there. Another sign of that AI explosion we mentioned.
Definitely a game changer for businesses, project managers, anyone juggling lots of online tools.
Okay, let's switch gears again. Alibaba. They've got this project called Zero Search.
Ah, yes. This is really clever. It tackles a big cost in training certain LLMs, the ones that use retrieval, RAG models.
Right. Those models need to look things up constantly during training, usually hitting search engines like Google, which costs money.
A lot of money, potentially. So Alibaba asked, well, what if we trained an LLM to pretend to be a search engine?
Simulate it.
Yeah, simulate it so well that the main LLM being trained can't tell the difference.
And it worked?
Apparently, yes. And it drastically cut their training costs.
How'd they do it?
First, they took a smaller model, Ken 2.57b, and fine-tuned it on a big offline web crawl. Just trained it to generate plausible-sounding search snippets and URLs.
Okay, so fake search results.
Fake, but realistic looking.
Yeah.
Then comes the reinforcement learning part. They start feeding these fake results to the main model they're training, but they gradually add noise, make the fake results seem less relevant, like messing with the PageRank, to teach the main model to handle uncertainty, to weigh evidence, to synthesize information even when the search results aren't perfect, all without actually hitting a real search engine.
That's kind of brilliant. And the result?
Pretty stunning. Their 14 billion parameter retriever, trained this way, actually beat live Google search on hit rate in their tests.
Get out. Really?
Yep. And the training cost, 88% lower.
88%? That's massive.
Huge. It suddenly makes training these advanced models accessible to way more people, startups, universities, smaller cloud providers.
Opens the field up significantly.
And there's another subtle benefit. Since the retriever is synthetic, you can train it on your own private offline data without worrying about search engine policies or data sovereignty.
Ah, good point. Especially for sensitive enterprise data.
Exactly. And Alibaba released their training scripts too, so others can try it.
That's great. Any other perks?
Well, for enterprises, every fake query and answer gets logged, which is great for audits and because you're not calling external APIs anymore.
Inference latency stabilizes the time it takes to get an answer.
Exactly. Much more predictable response times in production. Very important.
And their bigger model, Chem 3, apparently scores well on affordability leaderboards too.
Yeah. Seems like this approach is paying off across their model range.
Okay, wow. Let's move to something that definitely caught people off guard. Google's V2 image-to-video model.
Yes. The surprise wasn't the tech itself necessarily, but where it showed up first.
Right. Not on Pixel phones, Google's own brand.
Nope. On mid-range phones from Honor.
Yeah.
You know, the brand spun off from Huawei.
Which is unexpected, to say the least. What does this V2 thing do?
It's the living photo feature on these Honor phones. You take a still picture, could be anything, photo, drawing, scan, painting, tap a button, wait maybe a minute, and it generates a 5-second video clip from it.
Animates the photo.
Yeah, but subtly. It adds simulated camera moves, like a gentle pan or zoom. And for people or animals, little blinks, maybe simulated breathing, or parallax effect for depth.
And this happens on the phone. No cloud needed.
Entirely on the device. No subscription, no internet connection required during the processing. It's running on an upper mid-tier Snapdragon chip.
That's impressive for on-device processing. Do these phones have other Google features like Magic Eraser?
They do, Magic Eraser, outpainting. But those feel less novel now compared to this local video generation.
And these Honor phones, what do they cost? Where are they available?
Around $550 US equivalent. Launched in China and Europe first, maybe India later. Limited North American availability seems likely.
So Pixel users might be feeling a bit left out.
Yeah, you could definitely see some disappointment there. Why debut it on Honor first?
The source we looked at suggested maybe it was a concession, tied to bigger Google Cloud deals in China.
That's one plausible theory. A strategic play to strengthen their position in that market, perhaps using this feature as a bit of a, well, sweetener.
Makes sense from a business perspective, even if it seems odd to consumers.
It's often the case with these big tech companies. Decisions are tied to larger strategies.
Okay, so if we're talking really advanced video stuff, let's look at Tencent. They've open sourced something called Hunyuan Custom.
Yeah, this is a serious piece of kit. A video customization suite. Highly engineered.
Customization, what can it do?
You can feed it all sorts of things. Text prompts, reference images for style, clean audio for lip sync, even a full driver video to copy motion from.
Okay.
And it generates new video sequences, but crucially, it keeps the identity of the main subject consistent.
That's often the tricky part, right? Keeping the face looking the same.
Exactly. And it uses this complex architecture, multiple components working together.
Like what?
There's a text-image fusion layer, something for temporal consistency to keep faces stable, an AudioNet arm for lip-sync accuracy, even a network for replacing objects in the video.
Wow. Sounds complex. Does it work well?
Apparently very well. They report a high face similarity score, better than many others, while still following text prompts accurately.
But there's got to be a catch. Hardware requirements.
Oh yeah, big time. We're talking potentially needing around 80 gigabytes of VRAM video memory just for a short clip.
80 gigs, so like multiple high-end GPUs.
Pretty much. They do have a fallback script for a single, say, 24 GB 4090 card. But rendering times become really slow. Hours for maybe just a few seconds of video.
Okay, so not for the casual user. Installation easy.
Not exactly plug and play either. Needs specific versions of CEDA and PyTorch. They offer a Docker image to help, thankfully.
And interfaces?
Both command line and a browser-based one using Gradio. So, options there.
So definitely a tool for researchers or pros with heavy-duty hardware, but shows what's possible at the absolute cutting edge of video AI right now.
I'm sure. It's state-of-the-art stuff in terms of controllable video generation.
All right, let's bring it down to something maybe a bit more everyday. Apple and iOS 19, using AI for battery life.
Yeah, it seems like a smart, practical use of on-device machine learning.
How does it work? What's it looking at?
It uses anonymized data from the phone's battery controller. Things like, when do different apps wake up? How often do background tasks run? Voltage changes, temperature.
Okay, privacy protected, all local.
All processed locally within the secure enclave, yes. The AI models learn your usage patterns from this data.
And then
it tries to predict and optimize power draw. So the example given is, if you never use, say, Facebook between midnight and 7 a.m.
Which I don't.
Right. iOS 19 could learn that and just freeze its background refresh during that time, save that bit of power.
Clever. Anything else?
A small UI tweak, the lock screen, might show remaining battery time in minutes, not just percentage. More intuitive, maybe.
And this is coming to older phones, too, with the update.
Yes, though the rumor is the iPhone 17 might be the first hardware really designed around this.
Okay.
Maybe allowing for a slimmer design, slightly smaller battery, because the software is smarter.
Interesting. So they rely more on software optimization.
Seems like the direction.
Yeah.
Newer devices with richer battery data might see bigger gains, but older ones should benefit too.
Good to see AI tackling a real user pain point like battery drain.
It's a subtle but potentially very welcome improvement for day-to-day use.
Okay, finally, let's talk about a massive new player in the AI infrastructure game, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, their public investment fund, the PIF, is launching this AI venture called Humane. And the potential funding is staggering.
How staggering.
The PIF itself has nearly $1 trillion in assets. They're serious.
Wow. Okay. What's the plan for Humane?
Seems pretty straightforward initially. Build or lease huge data centers, buy tons of GPUs. Rumors are they're already targeting NVIDIA's next-gen Blackwell chips.
Get the best hardware.
Right. Hire top AI talent globally, and basically make Saudi Arabia a major regional AI hub.
Ambitious. Are they getting traction?
Well, they just hosted a big U.S.-Saudi investment forum. Guest list included Elon Musk, folks from OpenAI, Mark Zuckerberg, even Donald Trump. Shows the level of interest.
That's some serious pull.
Yeah.
Any deals happening?
Reports mention talks between U.S. firms like Google, Salesforce, and this humane venture about potential joint AI projects using their future infrastructure.
Interesting. What's their potential advantage? Just money.
Money helps, obviously, but also potentially cost-effective computing. They have lots of sun for renewable solar power.
Ah, lower energy costs.
Could be, and maybe advanced liquid cooling for the data centers. They might be able to undercut traditional cloud providers on compute costs.
Which could shake things up globally.
Definitely. It could be high-performance computing more accessible, change where major AI development happens. It's a really bold move.
A space to watch, for sure, so quite a tour there.
Absolutely. From AI thinking differently to global infrastructure plays.
So as we wrap up, let's circle back to those questions from the source. Like, are we really ready for AI that decides for itself when it's done thinking, like Sakana's model?
It's a profound question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that Google Honor V2 decision, why let another company debut your cool tech first, still raises eyebrows.
It does. And thinking about all these things together, the new AI minds, the way they'll weave into our tools, thanks to things like MCP, the cheaper training, smarter phones, massive investments. What does it all mean for you listening?
Right. How does this impact your productivity, your job? How does it shift the global tech race? Which of these breakthroughs feels like it could genuinely change things in your world?
Is it the automation potential, the cost savings, the AI features landing on maybe more affordable devices?
Or maybe the bigger picture, this evolving relationship between us and these increasingly smart machines?
It's definitely a future landscape that's changing incredibly fast. Lots to think about.
Indeed. Plenty to keep watching and contemplating.